All right, so I'm in this video now. I'm hoping Kelvin to keep it back on. So now I'm going to do this for the more of the Western way, right? I'll just right now just try to Google search with the. Cool. Okay. Why would you hear a lot of conspiracy theory or right wing media or alternative media would say Western civilization will be replaced, will be collapsed, and the reason is this, right? Is the fact that nobody's really getting married, or there's a high divorce rate, and as well at the same time, marriage is not a thing. You can live as an individualism, right? You can survive without the partner. But what they don't know about it is when they get old or frail. See, the good thing about individualism is like when you're at the young and teenage and early adulthood, it's fun. You do whatever you want. You can play around. You can do whatever you want. Nobody stone you to death. Nobody shame you or stone you or things like that. You got Tinder. You can swipe right or things like that. So let's just see how as Western world has entered the technology revolution a lot earlier, industrial revolution a lot more earlier than other countries, because all the countries are mired, right? So first things first, to understand why it will be replaced by migrants, and first thing, let's just look at what are the locals, right? Okay, so that's triangle is for men, all right? Actually, I shouldn't do that high, right? Actually, I do a bit lower. Okay, so got triangle, oh, all right. So triangle, no. So triangle is you and that. And then how many kids they have? I just put, I don't know. Nowadays, it's one kid. It's more popular, just one nowadays. Two kids are still look around, but I still put one, all right? I reckon it's girls nowadays. In the Western world, especially in Australia, there's more girls than boys nowadays, right? So you have that. This is the structure, right? Two fat. Oh gosh, these are a bit too close, but we should be further away. And there you go. All right. Now it's coming from grandparents and grandpa, grandma, grandpa, grandma. So there you go. That's your triangles and circles, right? Then you have that, right? Then you see it's very strong, right? That their marriage lasts long for grandparents, and they pass it on down here, right? But when it comes to nowadays, parents nowadays, they tend to be divorced, right? There's a lot more divorce happening, right? All right, I put the cross there, that's divorce, right? Now, when they enter the new partner, right, boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever you guys name it, and they have, a daughter, or, they have a son, right? So even though you have step parents, I don't know what's the code for it. I think it's like that, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, right? Or husband or wife, or whatever you guys call it. So now you have step brothers or step sisters, right? And you're the one here. Now, even though your parents do enter the phase of individualism, now we're living in this phase, right? This current era. First time in life that we are living in technological, we don't have religion taking power. What's up, Kevin? Power, right? When you look at the structure, right? Before, we call it enlightenment, right? We enter in. We went to enlightenment era, right? So it's more scientific instead of having religion taking power of the country or for the people. Before it was just more religion, whether the church, the priest who heals, or to talk to the kids and the families, to what's right, what's wrong. That was the law. It was based on religion and king as well, and dynasties, whatever you guys call it. Now we enter the Enlightenment era. All right, Enlightenment era was not long ago. Let me just type it in. When did Enlightenment starts? When did it start? It started. Oh, okay. Wow. It started in the 15th centuries, right? So we shifted from stoning, burning, and killing people. All right. I can talk to you here. Don't worry about it. Okay. Hello. Hello there. Okay. So this is a structure, right? So these guys, they have tablets, iPads, Tinder, all right? And not getting married is you don't get stoned or get disowned, especially for a guy, but for girls, there's a pressure on it, but it's all right in today's world. You don't have to get married or things like that. Now, this is the technological enlightenment era that the Western world is living. Now, regardless if it's like you talk about Spain. I've met one of the Spain guy. He's come from Spain, who was volunteer, and he told me most of the people around his age, 40, 50, they're not married at all, right? So they all just crumble. They can't buy a house, cost of living is going high, can't get a car, this and that, and this and that. Oh, yada, 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 get going on. Right, so it's better to stay single because it's cheaper, it's more freedom and things like that. Right, remember, freedom. Now, let's look at the other one. All right. If you come from a migrant, all right, usually this is how it, well, actually, I have to make it bigger than that. All right. All right, then usually, I think I have to make it bigger than that. Don't worry. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Let's make it bigger than that. All right. The best way to understand is this. All right. So, all right. So father and mother from another country, they all have like more than 2 or 3 kids. Whether they're coming, 4 kids is a bit more exaggerating. All right, whether they come from, but they most likely have more than 2 or 1 or 2, right? So when they have more than 1 and 2, that means more babies, right? And regardless, when I talk about migrants, we could talk about Southeast Asia, we could talk about countries in Africa, we could talk about Middle East as well. If it's South America, and unfortunately in Australia we don't have that many South Americans, but they tend to have pop more than 2 kids, right? Over there they tend to pop 1, but it's dysfunctional, right? They're all on iPads and Tinders, no religion. Religion is out. I worship technology. I worship politics. I worship, my peers. Now this is a dangerous one, right? As for myself, when it comes to peers, we're talking about your age group friends, right? All right. Your age group friends doesn't have much experience unless you guys know. But the thing about you guys who understand the most is politics, Tinder, iPad. Right, easy. Well, this one is more like usually those from migrants have a strong religion, right? And culture. See, the problem with enlightenment, it destroyed culture. Right? There's not much culture going on. Right? There's not much culture. All right, so this could marry to, some cultures marry within. Oh, come on, city. Okay. Some cultures marry within the family. Some cultures get arranged marriage. Some cultures go through marriage within the family. Some cultures marry within the scope of the families or family friends and things like that. Very, very strong connection. With this, there's more worship to what's going on with that. Now, don't forget, right? There's a very strong culture here because father and mother, right? Then they have their sisters, right? This one has sister, brother, and this one has brother, and sister. This one has brother, sister, and brother. They tend to have more siblings, right? Right, you understand what I'm saying? And of course, they have grandparents, up there, they have pop, that many kids, right? They pop that many kids. Or usually they pop more than 4 kids, right? Back in the days, there's no medication, and I'll put a lot more than here, 6 kids. I'll just put 6 kids up here, right? I just hypothetically saying 6, all right? Then down to your parents, we pop to like 3 or 2 or 3 more kids. That is better than this one. This one is a lot more dysfunctional, even though they pop kids, but the next generation not most likely going to pop kids because of the more worship of that. But this one, even the culture comes in. If they have very, very strong religion and culture and social norms within the community or the family, they tend to go out and marry and mingle and continue. But in today's world, it's very difficult to keep it up because of the technology. Now, if the technology, then boy, what is going on? If it's not, then what's going to happen here is just going to keep on going, keep on going. Now, the reason why a lot of people, what do you say up there? It will be replaced by migrants because Israel keeps on sending migrants to the Western world. Okay, I cannot. Okay, that's more of the European in the other side. Okay, we can speak on that one. But cultures has very, very strong religion, right? Right now, the very strong one right now is probably, I have to say, is the Islamic. Islamic is very strong at the moment on married, and that's the reason why a lot of the media have to be very sensitive with the Muslim community at the moment, because one day it will be replaced and locals will be one. But that's been said. I think the one who has strong religion and culture tend to breed a lot more, right? That's usually the case, depending how or where you're from. But our specifically been speaking, the Muslim culture is very strong, very, very strong. There's something got to do with, correct me if I'm wrong, it can be religion, it can be war torn, the way how they present themselves and things like that, and how hungry marriage, having more kids is a norm. It's like it's like competition, I guess that's how it works. And I'm saying this because of I used to work. I'm actually currently working in the food emergency, food parcel department where I give out food stamps and things like that, and I get to see the huge difference. Right, those coming from the different culture. I'm not picking on Muslim because what the right wing media says or anything like that. I'm only saying that, speaking from my experience, and I'm not judgmental or things like that. Because is this a problem? I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just telling you what is going on. I'm not saying anything because multiculturalism, there's some of them take advantage, some of them are not. So there's goods and bads. I can't say all of them are good or all of them bad. Like Chinese people, they're smart. They're too smart. They overbought too many houses, and they drive the prices too high. All right. So that's one of them. Then you got other cultures. Other cultures bring their behavior. Right. Now, multiculturalism, there's some good and some bad. Like, for example, Calvin. Right. When Vietnamese came into Australia, right, the first wave, right, what has happened is that a lot of Australians bullied them because they're small. They're the first Asian migrants. Big mass flow came to Australia. So they always bullied Vietnamese people. Or Vietnamese people bring drugs or things like that. And what they did is, they always get bullied because they're a small body figure, they eat differently, or what is this fish sauce, or what is this bread, or things like that. Disgusting. They did the same thing with Italians, with the Macedonians, with the Greeks, and things like that. Right? So what they did is, a lot of Vits they get knives. They can't handle with Australian blokes or Western blokes. They're too big. They push them over. One punch, they'll knock them over. So you know what? They deal with knives. And every single culture brought different things to defend themselves. One thing the Vietnamese people did for Australia is, when the mass flow, after the war, the Vietnam-US war and the China war, mass flows coming to Australia or other parts of countries, and speaking to Australia. Australia was very heavy on religion, where Sunday especially, it's a church day. So what did the Vits came? They came here. They work hard. Most of them, it's not Catholic. They believe in Buddhism. So what they did, they find any dollar. They work. They don't care. They don't work with the spectrum of Sabbath day on Sunday. So what they do is that the traditional Australia working hours was Monday to Saturday. But Saturday you work half day. You have to close the shop by 12 o'clock morning. All right. So you have to shut at 12 o'clock. When you shut at 12 o'clock, if you're later than that, then the police comes and get you a fine or things like that, right? But with the Vietnamese, what they did change Australian culture is to work 7 days. Because what they did, they do hot bread shops, making banh mi, or their restaurants, and as well the sewing machines, or whatever the business they did. They work 7 days. They work so hard, and out of nowhere, they change rapidly. They become successful. They become more successful than the local people, and things has changed in 7 days to enter the competition of the market. And this is what every single culture introduced has changed the shape the way it is today. What's the funny thing, right? My previous landlord, who's he's been living in this area for more than 3 decades, right? Like in the suburb, right? So before that, he's been telling me, 2 decades ago, before this whole 7 days thing, when it comes to what day was it? Melbourne Cup Day. Melbourne Cup Day, for those that doesn't know, is like a horse race betting day that only happens 1 day event, 1 or 2 days, 1 day event in Melbourne, Australia. So the whole world will look at it, but there's a public holiday in Melbourne, right? Every second house on the street, there's a barbie on. So barbie is barbecue. But now, when there's a Melbourne Cup Day, there's no barbecue. You probably see 1 or 3 on the street, 3 or 4 houses in the street. People tend to work. It's a lot more workaholic. So things has changed progressively going through. So we've lost a lot of culture already. If you go up to the rural area, kids are going around with bicycles or scooters, all right? At late, 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, you see bunch of kids having scooters in this metropolitan area. You think, oh, are they thugs? Are they junkies? So yeah, so you have that on the go. All right, that's the video. I'll probably make one more video. What I'm going to talk about is how the marriage system works in China. Calvin, you ready?